Did you know that the Muslim population is expected to grow more than twice as fast as the overall global population by 2060? By 2050, Islam is predicted to surpass Christianity, becoming the largest religion in the world. As of April 2023, there are over 2 billion Muslims globally, making up about 24.1% of the world's population. This makes Islam the second largest religion after Christianity. While there aren't any countries that outright ban Muslims solely based on their religion, certain regions have restrictions, tensions, or policies that can pose significant challenges for Muslims. In today's video, we're going to explore the top 10 countries where Muslims might face difficulties in 2024. But before we dive in, I want to ask for your support. We put a lot of effort into creating each of our videos, so please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's get started. Number 10, Israel. Israel is a small but highly significant country in the Middle East, with Jerusalem as its capital. The population is primarily Jewish, making up about 74%, while Muslims constitute approximately 17% of the population. The Muslim community in Israel is diverse, with the majority being Sunni Muslims. Most Muslims in Israel reside in areas like East Jerusalem, the Negev, and northern Israel. Islamophobia in Israel is intertwined with the complex history and ongoing conflict between Israel and its Arab neighbors, including the Palestinian territories. Tensions have been high due to various incidents, such as the conflicts in Gaza and the West Bank, which have fueled negative sentiments. There have been instances of discrimination against Muslims, particularly Arab Muslims, in various aspects of life, including housing, employment, and education. Politically, some far-right parties in Israel have taken a hard stance against Muslims, advocating for stricter measures and policies that disproportionately affect the Muslim community. These measures include restrictions on building mosques, practicing certain religious customs, and facing challenges in obtaining permits for religious activities. This atmosphere contributes to the Islamophobia experienced by Muslims in the country, making Israel a challenging place for Muslims in 2024. Number 9, Netherlands. The Netherlands, known for its rich history and liberal values, is home to a diverse population with a significant Muslim minority, making up about 5% of the total population. The Muslim community in the Netherlands is primarily composed of people of Turkish and Moroccan descent, with the majority being Sunni Muslims. Islamophobia in the Netherlands has been on the rise, particularly since the early 2000s, following events like the assassination of filmmaker Theo van Gogh and the increasing influence of right-wing populist parties. The political landscape has shifted, with parties like the Party for Freedom PV led by Geert Wilders, known for its anti-Islam rhetoric. This rhetoric has fueled negative perceptions and led to policies aimed at restricting Muslim practices, such as the partial ban on face covering veils and discussions about further limiting religious freedoms. Socially, Muslims in the Netherlands face discrimination in various forms, from difficulties in finding employment to harassment in public spaces. The rise in anti-Muslim sentiment has made it increasingly challenging for Muslims to practice their religion freely, contributing to a growing sense of Islamophobia. This makes the Netherlands one of the countries where Muslims might feel unwelcome in 2024. Number 8, Bulgaria. Bulgaria, located in southeastern Europe, is known for its rich cultural heritage and historical landmarks. The country has a small Muslim population, making up about 10% of the total population, primarily consisting of ethnic Turks and Pomaks. The majority of these Muslims are Sunni, and they mostly reside in rural areas, particularly in the Rhodope Mountains and regions near the Turkish border. Islamophobia in Bulgaria has deep historical roots, dating back to the Ottoman Empire's rule over the region. The legacy of this period has led to a lingering distrust and negative sentiment toward the Muslim minority. In recent years, this sentiment has been exacerbated by the rise of nationalist and far-right political parties, which often use anti-Muslim rhetoric to garner support. These parties have influenced policies that restrict the construction of new mosques and limit the visibility of Islamic practices in public life. Socially, Muslims in Bulgaria face challenges such as discrimination in employment, education, and public services. There have been incidents of vandalism against mosques and verbal and physical attacks on Muslims, further fueling the sense of Islamophobia. Despite these challenges, the Muslim community in Bulgaria continues to practice its faith, although in a climate of increasing hostility, making Bulgaria a country where Muslims may feel unwelcome in 2024. Number 7, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, an island nation in South Asia, is known for its stunning landscapes and cultural diversity. The country's population is predominantly Buddhist, with Muslims making up about 9.7% of the population. The majority of Sri Lankan Muslims are Sunni and are primarily concentrated in the eastern province. the western province, and the capital, Colombo. Islamophobia in Sri Lanka has been on the rise, particularly following the Easter Sunday bombings in 2019, which were carried out by a group of Islamist extremists. This event significantly impacted the perception of Muslims in the country, leading to increased suspicion and hostility. Some Buddhist nationalist groups have used these events to justify anti-Muslim sentiments and actions, leading to attacks on Muslim businesses, homes, and places of worship. Politically, there has been a growing movement among certain groups to marginalize Muslims, with calls for bans on certain Islamic practices, such as wearing the hijab and halal certification of food products. These movements have been supported by nationalist politicians who view the Muslim population as a threat to the country's Buddhist identity. The rising tide of Islamophobia has created an increasingly difficult environment for Muslims in Sri Lanka, making it a challenging place for them in 2024. Number 6. Denmark. Denmark, a Scandinavian country known for its high standard of living and progressive values, has a small but significant Muslim population, making up about 5% of the total population. The majority of these Muslims are immigrants or descendants of immigrants from countries like Turkey, Pakistan, and Somalia. The Muslim community in Denmark is diverse, with various cultural and religious practices. Islamophobia in Denmark has been growing in recent years, driven by political rhetoric and media portrayal of Muslims as a threat to Danish society. Far-right political parties, such as the Danish People's Party, have gained popularity by promoting anti-Muslim policies, including restrictions on Islamic dress, the building of mosques, and the practice of certain religious customs. This has led to a legal and social environment that many Muslims find increasingly hostile. Socially, Muslims in Denmark face challenges such as discrimination in housing, employment, and education. There have been numerous incidents of verbal and physical harassment against Muslims, particularly women who wear the hijab. The media often portrays Muslims in a negative light, contributing to the widespread Islamophobia. As a result, Denmark is becoming a country where Muslims may feel increasingly unwelcome in 2024. Number 5. Austria. Austria, located in Central Europe, is a country known for its rich history, stunning landscapes, and cultural heritage. The Muslim population in Austria is relatively small, making up about 8% of the total population. Most Muslims in Austria are of Turkish and Bosnian origin, with the majority being Sunni Muslims. Austria has seen a rise in Islamophobia over the years, particularly influenced by political shifts and social tensions. Far-right political groups in the country have gained traction by promoting anti-Muslim rhetoric, often linking Islam to extremism and terrorism. This has led to stricter policies regarding the public display of Islamic symbols, such as the ban on full-face veils in public spaces and restrictions on the construction of mosques and minarets. Historically, Austria has had a complex relationship with its Muslim population, stemming from its involvement in conflicts with the Ottoman Empire centuries ago. These historical tensions have resurfaced in modern times, exacerbated by the migrant crisis in Europe. The portrayal of Muslims in Austrian media often leans negative, contributing to widespread Islamophobia. In this environment, Muslims in Austria face challenges in practicing their faith openly, making the country increasingly unwelcoming for Muslims in 2024. Number 4. France. France, one of Europe's most influential nations, is home to a significant Muslim population, making up about 9% of the total population. The majority of Muslims in France are of North African descent, particularly from Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia. Islam is the second largest religion in the country, following Christianity. France has been at the center of global discussions on Islamophobia, largely due to its strict secularism policies, known as laïcité. These policies emphasize the separation of religion from public life, which has led to controversial measures such as the ban on wearing religious symbols, including hijabs, in public schools and government buildings. This has created a tense atmosphere for Muslims in France, who often feel that their religious identity is under threat. The rise of far-right political movements in France, such as the National Rally, has further fueled Islamophobia by associating Islam with terrorism and extremism. This narrative has been reinforced by several high-profile terrorist attacks carried out by Islamist extremists, leading to a climate of fear and suspicion towards Muslims. Despite their contributions to French society, Muslims in France continue to face discrimination in various aspects of life, from employment to housing. As a result, France has become one of the most challenging countries for Muslims to live in 2024. Number 3. Myanmar. Myanmar, a Southeast Asian country with a long and troubled history, has gained international attention for its treatment of the Rohingya Muslim minority. Muslims make up a very small percentage of Myanmar's population, and the majority of them are Rohingya, predominantly Sunni. The Rohingya have faced severe persecution for decades, But the situation escalated dramatically in 2017 when the military launched a brutal crackdown, forcing hundreds of thousands to flee to neighboring Bangladesh. Islamophobia in Myanmar is deeply rooted in both historical and contemporary events. The Buddhist-majority country has long seen Muslims as outsiders, exacerbated by colonial-era tensions. Anti-Muslim sentiment is often stoked by nationalist Buddhist monks and political figures who view Islam as a threat to Myanmar's cultural identity. The government has been accused of committing genocide against the Rohingya, with widespread reports of massacres, rapes, and the burning of villages. Muslims who remain in Myanmar live under oppressive conditions, facing severe restrictions on movement, marriage, and religious practices. The international community has condemned Myanmar for its treatment of Muslims, making it one of the least welcoming countries for Muslims in 2024. Number 2. China. China, the world's most populous country, has been widely criticized for its treatment of the Uyghur Muslim minority in the Xinjiang region. Muslims make up about 2% of China's population, with the majority being Uyghurs, who are predominantly Sunni. The Chinese government has implemented harsh policies aimed at suppressing Islamic practices and beliefs under the guise of combating extremism. Islamophobia in China is state-driven and part of a broader campaign to assimilate ethnic minorities into Han Chinese culture. The government has established a vast network of internment camps in Xinjiang, where over 1 million Uyghur Muslims have been detained and subjected to forced labor, indoctrination, and abuse. Mosques have been demolished, religious texts banned, and Muslim names and attire are restricted. China's policies have sparked international outrage, with human rights organizations accusing the government of cultural genocide. Despite the global condemnation, the Chinese government continues to deny any wrongdoing, making China an increasingly hostile place for Muslims in 2024. Number 1. India. India, the world's largest democracy, is home to a significant Muslim population, comprising about 15% of the total population. However, recent years have seen a surge in Islamophobia, largely driven by the rise of Hindu nationalism under the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP). Muslims in India face growing discrimination and violence, often fueled by inflammatory rhetoric from political leaders and media outlets. The history of Hindu-Muslim tensions in India dates back centuries, but the situation has worsened in recent years with the introduction of controversial laws like the Citizenship Amendment Act (CAA), which many see as discriminatory against Muslims, incidents of mob lynching, attacks on Muslim-owned businesses, and the demolition of mosques have become increasingly common, leading to a climate of fear among the Muslim community. The political landscape in India has become increasingly polarized, with Muslims often portrayed as a threat to national security and Hindu identity. Despite their significant contributions to Indian society, Muslims in India face an uphill battle for equal rights and acceptance, making it one of the most challenging countries for Muslims to live in 2024. Thank you for watching our video on the countries where Muslims are not welcome in 2024. If you found this video insightful, you'll definitely want to check out the next video showing on your screen. Now it's about cities that have been completely transformed or even ruined by the impact of immigration. It's a must-watch if you're interested in how migration shapes urban life across the globe. Click on it, and I promise you'll find the information both eye-opening and thought-provoking. Don't forget to watch it till the end and subscribe for more content like this.